my fellow fasting foodie friend, it's Jackie, and I'm here with my dad, Kirk, and this is his second time on the channel.
Hello, how you doing there? Nice to be back.
And I have heard time and time again, Jackie, have your dad back, Jackie, have your dad back, and he has already agreed to do my podcast someday once that's actually around, but we wanted to take advantage of me being at his house this weekend. We're out in the woods camping, and he has a nice camper, so we got to stay there. So we're here, and Dad is going to give us a little synopsis of his fasting journey. He's approaching 2 years, right?
2 years, yes. Labor Day 2020, Jackie introduced this to me, and obviously I've been kind of in and out of the dieting world, so I decided to, let's give this a try. And I've done it for 2 years, and right now I am at OMAD. I do 1 meal a day, so my window starts between 4:30 and ends at 7. So I'm about a 21 to 22, depending on my work schedule, hours fasting, and then 2-hour eating window. And I feel great, and I really enjoy it.
That's awesome. Do you mind sharing your age and like your weight loss or shirt sizes or pant size change?
No, absolutely.
And if there's anything, you can just be like, don't want to discuss that.
Yeah, no problem. I'm 57 years old, started this when I was 55, battled weight gain, weight loss, did the yo-yo. So right now I am down from 268 was my last recorded weight measure, down to 228. I've actually kind of went a little higher from the last time that I talked to everybody. But that's shirt size. I went from double extra large down to large shirts. I am at pant size. I was at 42, so now I'm at like a 38. There are some pants at 38, a little bit tight. Some pants at 36, like a little bit tight, so I could actually. So I'm just kind of in between there, and my body's kind of finding its happy spot, and feels great.
I feel like we're very similar in the fact that we both lost weight and hit a comfortable spot, and then we both know that if we made changes we could lose more, but we're enjoying OMAD.
Absolutely. And what really makes it feel good is because I haven't lost weight in probably like 4 months or a little bit longer, but I still have friends that I don't see a lot, and when I do see them, they're like, my God, you have lost weight. And I say, no, actually I haven't. It's just your body's still changing, the body. And so that makes me feel good, that I still have people saying, wow, you've lost weight. And I haven't. I've actually put on a little bit of weight, but I put on good weight. I eat a lot more protein and stuff, so it's been good weight. So it's been good. That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I put out on the community tab a call for questions since I knew you guys had so many of them, and I'm going to just go. Some of them are repeats, so if we get to one that he's either covered, we'll give a real quick recap, or if it's a repeat question, I'll read it still so you are represented, but we will say, oh, we've already answered that. So the first question comes from Linda, and oh wait, that's not a question. She just said, can't wait to hear from you and your dad. So thank you, Linda.
Hi, Linda.
Dawn says, what made you continue fasting even when the scale wasn't moving? And I'm just going to give a quick reminder, if you haven't seen my dad's first video, how long did it take you to start losing weight?
Started Labor Day, and it was not till January of 2021 that I really started to lose weight.
Okay, so I think she's referencing his initial, and even probably now, he hasn't lost weight for a while, but how do you keep going when the scale isn't moving?
So one thing, you probably hear this a lot, and maybe it gets used too much, is it's trust the process. But part of trusting that process is reading the books, understanding the science behind it, and knowing that this is not a quick fix. You have to make a commitment to that you want to change your life. And like Jen says, it's not a weight loss program, it's a lifestyle. Weight loss is just a gain from it. So you have to get that mindset to where if you're feeling good, if you're doing something for 30 days and you feel great, keep with that. That was the part. I didn't feel bad. I felt I had more energy. I wasn't losing the weight that I thought, but I had more energy. Focus for work was really good. So it was kind of an easy choice to keep going. So just trusting that process, understanding the science behind it, and just know that if you're feeling better, then you're doing the right thing.
Yep, because it's hard to argue, like, I can't think of how many times I've done diets where if I wasn't mentally driving myself crazy and losing weight, yeah, I wouldn't have kept going. But with fasting, I feel amazing all the time. So it's hard to, like, why would I stop this?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to argue with feeling amazing.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too on top of that is, in that, when you're fasting and you're feeling good, you may not be losing weight, you still get to eat the foods that you normally would not be able to eat.
Right, and you normally gain weight.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, okay, I feel good, I still get to eat these foods, I just have to hold off. So it was really not that hard of a decision.
Yeah, and I think we practice our OMADs very similarly. And again, I know I could drop weight if I didn't practice it this way, but it's not worth it to me. I enjoy the foods that I love in my eating window. I restrict time, not food, and I think it's the same for you.
That's exactly the same. I just restrict time. My job I'm at, people may bring in cupcakes. Here, Kirk, have a cupcake. No, I'll wait. I'll set it aside, but I still will eat whatever the food. We're having a potluck today with some family coming in, and I'm going to eat whatever they bring. I don't restrict any kind of foods, but it's just a time restriction.
Yep. This question makes me cringe a little to read. It's still from Dawn. She says, did you ever think you'd have a daughter who is teaching people around the world, literally, to change their lives for the better?
Did I think that? Probably not, because I didn't know exactly. I knew that she was destined for good things. I'm very proud of this young lady. In spite of everything that she has gone through, she has had her mindset, and so I'm not surprised that she's successful at doing this. She was always successful. She can't take, but she deserves all this credit because
this is what I feel like doing. Like,
no,
thank you.
And she doesn't do it for any other reason than just she enjoys doing this. You know, this is what she feels like she enjoys doing, and she's been very good at it. I'm blessed that I'm part of the world that gets to experience this difference, and she has changed my life, and I'm blessed that she's my daughter.
Thanks, Dad. I'm just gonna go for one more a question that's just like that, just so we don't have to address this again. How does it feel to have a famous daughter? That's somewhere down here.
Very proud, very proud. Again, I knew that she was going to, in school, I remember one conversation I was having with her in college. She was worried she wasn't going to get a perfect score. And I asked her, I said, Jackie, what is the bottom line that's going to happen? You're going to be fine. Her grades were off the chart great. And that just wasn't good enough for her. So I knew that whatever she was going to do, she would call me and say, Dad, I'm going to do this. Dad, I'm going to do this. It wasn't a matter of if she was, it was a matter of when it was going to happen. So she's always been driven, and she's got some of that from her dad.
I was just going to say, I think I get a lot of that from you. That's a very shared personality trait. Okay, so moving on. Next question. Any side effects to discuss? This is from A Life in Season.
Hello, A Life in Season. Side effects, I would say some of the headaches, I believe it was more mental, just psychological, because I was so trained to eat at certain times. But once I got through that, and the other one, once I got more into the ketosis part, was the sleeping. I had trouble sleeping. I could almost feel like my body, when I was laying there having trouble, I could almost feel like I felt the body burning the fat. So whether or not you can or not, I don't know. But that was only two side effects. And as you kind of get more into the routine, they kind of subside and go away. But only the really two. Okay,
and A Life in Season mentioned leg cramps. I do get those as well, and I know others have already replied to you about electrolytes, but I did find that to be a big help. So something worth checking out. Lisa Marie, Dad wants to know about exercise. This is actually mentioned later as well, but wondering if you exercise before fasting or after starting intermittent fasting.
Hello, Lisa. Nice question. I started doing some exercising after I was doing some fasting, like in January. But I do it in the kind of like in the middle of my fast. I don't do it before I eat or right after I eat. I don't do that. It was kind of in the middle of my window. I never had any side effects of exercising without having to eat or having to drink or protein shake. I never had any side effects like that. I'm a fairly active person, so once summer came along, me and my wife, we hike, kayak and stuff. I kind of stopped fasting and still had the weight loss and everything, so I didn't feel.
He didn't stop fasting, stopped exercising.
Sorry, I did. Yeah,
I do that all the time when I record. I'm like, that's not what I meant to say.
Yeah, no, I did not. Exactly, I stopped exercising because of just our lifestyle, what we do, and all the different things, the activities. So, but I still fasted, and I still had the weight coming off.
Awesome. Okay, Darren doesn't really have a question, but he mentions he believes calories in and out are really important, actually most important, and I was just curious your thoughts on calories in and out. Do you think it's the most important thing to consider?
No, I don't feel it's the most important thing. Again, if you read some of the books, Obesity Code and the intermittent fasting stories, it gives you a little bit more history on that. But I don't believe that is the true cause, because I did that. I was very successful at Atkins diet. I was very successful at calories in, calories out. I just couldn't maintain that. The fasting has allowed me to eat certain foods that I love and enjoy, but it gives my body time to burn through that and get use the energy it needed and get rid of the rest. So I've had good success without worrying about that, and I don't feel it is a very important part of it.
Yeah, and for lifelong dieters like both of us, it's not something that we would be able to maintain. Fasting, we can focus on that, enjoy our foods without feeling like we're signing up for a lifelong tracking, which to me would feel like prison.
Yeah, and then on that note too, when people do that and they fail at that or they stop that, then they get that feeling of guilt or like they failed at something, and that's part of the whole part of why fasting works for us, is because you don't have to carry that anymore. You don't have to worry about, oh, I failed at this. It's not a failure. It's you get to eat what you want, keep that window, and you don't have to carry that burden anymore.
Yep, that's awesome. Mandy mentions that she remembers from the first video that it took a while for the scale to move for you. Did you do anything different from when you started to when this scale started moving?
Hi Mandy, great question. The only thing that I did different, because exactly, I started at Labor Day and I really didn't start seeing any kind of results until January or so. The only thing that I did different was I just kept stretching my window. I was feeling good, was enjoying what I was doing. I didn't have any adverse side effects. I wouldn't walk around starving, so I felt good. So I was able to just keep expanding that window to get to the point where my body was going to start into the ketosis portion of it. So that's the only thing I did different, was just keep expanding my window. And really, when it started coming off, Easter of 2021 is when I went to OMAD, and I have not varied from that. I've been doing OMAD since Easter of 2021, and I love it.
Me too. That's awesome. Samantha has a question, or a couple questions that we've already addressed. How to keep going when you weren't losing weight. Did you change anything, or was it just patience? So we've covered both of those. And then Samantha also wondered what your number one suggestion was for anyone fasting.
Number one suggestion is reading the books, listen to the podcast, just getting that information, understanding the science behind it. Obesity Code, again, I've said that probably before. That's a really good book that helped me, because I was able to understand the science, some of the feelings, or some of the reasons why I was having trouble dealing with just the shame or the feeling like I was a failure, and understanding I'm not. Nobody is. It's how our bodies are designed. Just doing that, getting it, and then trusting the process, which is probably a term that gets said too often, but it really sticks there. Is just, you have to understand it, trust it, and just keep going.
That's awesome. I 100% agree that it is so imperative to understand why you're doing something, because if you don't understand, it's going to be easy to change your mind. But if you understand why it's going to work, you have the resolve to go ahead.
Yep.
Juana Duckfin just said, amazing journey. Just saw the video, the first video from last year, so bravo. Lorene was wondering if you do OMAD. We've already addressed that. And what was your longest fast? And any other non-weight loss victories from fasting?
My longest fast was 36 hours. And I've done that several different times, and it's more based around stuff that's going on in my, what I got going on the weekends or work or something. So, and again, it was easy to do that. The other benefits from, other than the weight loss, the scale, is my energy, my clarity at work, or just even around the house projects, just being able to focus. One of the things that's kind of funny, I remember from work, is people would say, "Oh, I'm hungry," and they'd be back and forth just trying to figure out what to eat. And I was like, I didn't have that issue. I wasn't hungry, and it wasn't a distraction at work, or it wasn't a distraction on a project. And I really understood how much of a distraction that could become. So that was a benefit for me. Yeah, another one is just not having to feel guilty or carry that burden of, if I ate something that I shouldn't have ate this. Like a diet, you limit yourself, or I can only eat this many calories and I went over, and just that burden is gone. And so not having to carry that, not having to worry about that, taking that out of my life. Just kind of like when you have a garage sale, you're getting rid of a bunch of junk. That's good junk to get rid of.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I love that, the idea of a garage sale. Like, don't need it anymore, won't think of it again.
Yep.
So Juana Duckfin did come back with a question afterwards, and I feel like you've probably addressed it, but if you want to add more, top 3 benefits, I feel like you've probably gone over those. And also, what was your greatest challenge?
My greatest challenge, I was, the type of dieting I was doing at the point to which Jackie introduced this to me, is I was eating small meals, and I would get to work at 7:30, and I would eat, and then at 9:30, and then at 11:30, and then at 1:30, and then at 3:30, and then I'd have dinner at home, and then maybe I'd have a snack before that. So that was my biggest challenge, was to change my mindset, like, because you're kind of told, well, eat small meals and pace them out to keep your metabolism. Again, understanding the science behind that did not, I was like, wow, what I'm doing makes total no sense compared to what I should be doing. So that was my biggest hurdle, is psychologically getting to the point to understand this is not going to work for me. I have not ever been able to maintain it. I've had success in short intervals, but I have not been able to maintain that. So that was the biggest hurdle, changing the mindset. I never drink coffee, so I'm not one of them people that had to jump that hurdle of, I gotta have cream in my coffee. I never did that. I do drink iced coffee. I enjoy it now. I've acquired a taste for it, and I look forward to having my coffee in the morning. That's all I do. So.
Okay, awesome. And I feel like you've mentioned your 3 top benefits. Do you agree?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we'll move on. Our next question is from Datha Morgan. Oh wait, no question, just enjoyed the video.
Hi, Datha.
Patricia is asking, she says she's worried about protein as someone who's older. Do you know if you're meeting your protein needs?
You know, to tell you the truth, I've never looked at it from a standpoint of looking at what I should have based on my age. I just really based my intake off of how I feel. Sometimes I feel like my body's hungry and I may eat something and it's not satisfied. I don't have that feeling, so then I'll get something else maybe and I'll have a craving. I think my body really, once you start fasting, you really do start to listen to your body better, and you'll be able to, your body's gonna start telling you, I need this, I need this. One of the things that I enjoy, I always have nuts and stuff around, and that's kind of how I break my window. I'll just start munching on some nuts as I'm getting ready to have a dinner. So I do feel like I'm getting what my body needs, but starting that fasting, your body will start telling you and talking to you, and you'll get the foods that you need.
And you eat a lot of meat.
I do.
Yeah. I mean, our first video, I don't know if you saw it, he mentioned his favorite thing to open his window were nuts and meat, which I'm not a huge meat eater, but I would be very surprised if you don't eat meat protein needs.
Oh, I'm a meat and potato type person. If anything, every time when I dieted, I would keep the meat, but I would eliminate the carbohydrates, the potatoes, the starches and stuff. And I still try to do that because it's just not one of my favorite foods to go to. I mean, we went out to eat yesterday, and everybody got a dessert piece of pizza or something. I didn't, because that's just not my favorite. I went back and got more chicken, and that's just what I like to eat.
Brandy says, what motivated you as a man to start intermittent fasting?
Hi, Brandy. Well, I think as a man, all people want to look good, feel good, and I definitely had carried a belly. If you see the first video and see the comparison, I was bigger, and it was kind of funny. You just don't realize how big you're getting until you start seeing pictures. So for me, it was, yeah, I wanted to feel better. I'm 57. I want to extend my life out as long as I can, and I just knew that carrying on that weight wasn't gonna be a good thing for me. So as a man, I wanted to feel better. I wanted to look better. And when I was introduced to this, the feeling better came right away. So that was what made me keep going. But I just wanted to feel better. And healthier.
I remember introducing my dad to it because if I tell anyone about fasting, my big concern is I don't want anyone to ever think I think they need to lose weight. But I know my dad had a history of dieting, and he would do really well with it. So I wanted him to just have the option, and I think he's done amazing with it.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the things that I hear a lot. It's a good tool to have in your toolbox.
Exactly.
And you know, I did think of another benefit. I forgot. I was pre-diabetic probably about 8 years ago. So it was something that I was kind of monitoring, and they kept saying, you're gonna have to watch, you're gonna have to watch. Since then, my last read, I was below 5 on my insulin.
That's awesome.
Yeah, when they did my blood work, I was below 5, and they just said that's amazing results. So that was another benefit I just happened to think of when you. But
there's so many, it's hard to remember them all.
Yeah, yeah.
Kelly doesn't have a question, but she loved the first video and will be watching.
Hi, Kelly. Look forward to seeing you.
Miss D fam has asked, and I do believe we covered it, but maybe a small, succinct answer to wrap it up. How much weight did you lose in what time frame? My biggest I weighed was 268. Again, that was the biggest that I had recorded off the scale. I'm down to, the lowest I got to was 215.
Okay. And my body has kind of settled in around 225, 228. And I feel good. And it's not progressively gone up. I have kind of went down to like 215, and then it went back up, and I've just been really hovering. I get on the scale about once a month, and it's right within 2 or 3 pounds all the time. And Jen talks about honesty pants.
Yep.
You know, I have clothes that I've got rid of 3 bags of clothes that we took to Goodwill or gave to some people who are a little bit bigger.
Yep.
And now I can put the same clothes on and I'll know, oh, I'm a little bit, or no, I'm fine. So I just kind of use the clothes as my guide more than anything. So I'm never going to go back to bigger clothes. So
since getting down in your weight, it says since you've met your weight goal, I don't know if you'd consider that you've met your weight goal, but has your eating changed since losing the weight?
No, it hasn't changed anything. Any of my eating changes have came in the first year, and that was because my body reacting to the Chinese food, as we mentioned, or reacting to, I love cookies and milk. That was one of my biggest things that I would have every night before I go to bed. My body didn't like that, so I had eliminated that. I still have cookies. Once in a while, I'll say, you know what, I'm just gonna deal with it, and I'm gonna have some cookies and milk, but I just have, just because of the way I feel, certain pops give me acid reflux and stuff, so I eliminated that.
Which is a much easier change when you're not feeling well and you're like, I don't want to deal with that, than to be like, this is bad, stop eating milk and cookies, because then eventually you're gonna just binge and do it. Or that's what I would do.
And I had pop yesterday. I enjoy pop, but it's something that I know, because I don't want to feel that way. If I had pop every day, I would enjoy it as I'm drinking it, but I would not enjoy it later on. So,
Caprati, I'm not sure how to say your last name, I'm sorry. What you eat in a day or week, and again, has your eating changed? So we've pretty much covered that, but what's a typical meal, I guess?
For me, a typical meal is going to be We have a meat, some kind of meat. We'll have a veggie.
Big vegetable gardener here.
Yes, we have a big garden, so we like to eat. But I have a plate, and when people walk up, they're like, wow, you are eating good. And some people say, you're eating the same amount of food that I would eat in a normal day. And I said, but I do enjoy eating. So it's going to be a meat and potato with a veggie, or I might have, I definitely have some nuts all the time. I like all these mixed nuts. I'll eat them. And then I love chili roasted pistachio. I'll have some of them.
He bonded with my daughter last night. They both love those chili roasted pistachios.
Oh, they are so good. And then sometimes I'll have like a couple cookies at the end of my window. That's kind of the finishing. But then I really, as far as drink, I kind of drink like a soda water.
Yep.
And soda water I can drink anytime, out of my window, into my window, and sometimes I'll have a soda water and I put a little lime juice in there or something just for flavor during my eating time. But a lot of times it's just coffee or water, soda water.
It's funny you say it, because most of my drinking in my eating window is the same as what I'd have. And I think it's just because I like it so much, because I can have it all the time. And I think, oh yeah, that drink that sounded good to me a few days ago, I could have just had that before I closed my window, but I don't even really think of it because I'm so used to coffee, water. And I've started drinking a lot of iced tea. Do you drink iced tea?
I do drink iced tea. I didn't drink a lot this year because the soda water with lime was always good. But I depending on if I go get a good burger, when I open my window, I'm going to have a soda with that.
Yep,
or pizza. I will not have pizza without having a pop.
Yep.
So
I agree. Maria wants to know, do your coworkers ever try to talk you into eating?
Hi, Maria. No, they don't. And I've been really, I think that's been really good. They may not understand. They may say, I could never do that. You're nuts. But they never have. And we have had potlucks. We have had cookies brought in, donuts brought in. And it got to the point where they really understood, no, this is not what he does. So they'll actually grab a donut for me and set it aside. Or,
that's nice.
Hey, Kirk, I brought in these cookies. I got some here set aside for you. Or take them. I know you're not going to eat them, but set them. So, no, most of my coworkers have been very good about it. What really happens is some coworkers have come to me and say, what are you doing? You look great. What are you doing different? And I just kind of explain to them without any kind of pressure. I say, this is what you got to do. Read this book. Look at this. And you'll be able to do it if they want. So.
Yep. And I think you mentioned the same philosophy. I would never tell anyone you have to do this, but I think people knowing about it, if they ever want it and have the exposure, I think that's awesome.
Yep.
John asked about non-scale victories. I feel like we've talked about that. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I think we added about the my sugar.
Yep.
My insulin reading, so that's been good.
Linda asked what you like or dislike about IF. I feel like we've covered kind of both. If there's anything you feel like is missing for Linda.
As far as dislikes, there's really nothing I don't like about it.
Yeah.
Any of my friends and family have always been respectful as far as knowing he's not going to eat. They don't pressure me.
Do you have breath issues? Everyone knows that I tell them all the time. I get horrible breath ever since I've been doing it, and I didn't know. Have you dealt with that at all?
I don't think I do, but maybe that's why the guy asked me if I wanted a piece of gum. I don't know. I don't know.
Are you sure? Yeah, I have horrible breath, and that's my least favorite. But
my wife says that I'm a freak of nature because even when I wake up, she says your breath's not bad. So I've had different times, but nope.
I bet your poop doesn't stink either.
She has not said that.
And then the final question comes from Cordelia, which, by the way, I love the name Cordelia. Do you talk about intermittent fasting with others, and have you discussed it with your doctor? So kind of twofold.
Hi, Cordelia?
Yeah.
Hi, Cordelia. Yes, I have talked. Anybody that wants to talk about it, they'll ask me questions. I will talk to them, give them all the information. I have never went up to anybody and said, you should try this, you should try this. Unless they are saying, they are talking about, I'm dieting, or I may have said, at that point, why don't you look at trying this? This may be something alternative. If they're already talking to me about diet or something, I may suggest that. So yes, I have had, like I said just a little earlier, a lot of people come up and say, what are you doing? How are you doing it? And just giving them the information, the platform that they can look at, the books, the podcasts, the history, some pictures. I mean,
a
really,
YouTube channel.
A YouTube channel that I hear is pretty good, which I have listened to a lot of them. But I just go through and talk to them a little bit about it to give them the information, because that's all that Jackie did to me. She didn't say, Dad, boy, you're looking bad. You really need to try something different.
Never.
She just knew, like she said, I mean, I've been dieting, I've had success. Hey, Dad, you're doing great. Hey, Dad, how you doing? You know, or we're dieters. We both were in and out, backing up and down. So she just
back it up.
Yeah. So I just expose people that want to hear about it. Did I talk to my doctor about it? Yes. I talked to my doctor, and some of them don't have any kind of information. When I asked for a certain test, I wanted to check my fasting insulin. They're like, oh, we checked this. I said, nope. I said, I know you checked this, but I want you to check this. I want to have this reading. In my last physical, which I do for a physical this coming fall, my last physical, they said, what are you doing? You've lost a lot of weight. Your numbers have dialed in. Blood pressure. I was always at the cusp.
Oh, okay.
My blood pressure has come down too.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah, so there's another benefit. And they were like, that's great.
And how could a doctor or even any naysayer in your life argue with blood pressure lowering, your A1C levels lowering, you feel great? Like, what's to argue with that?
Yeah, there's nothing they can do, because for them to say, well, that's all your numbers are good, we want you to stop this. You get your numbers bad again.
Find a new doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Find a new doctor. So, but good information.
Yeah. Anything you want to share? We're done with the questions.
I look forward to future when she does her podcast, sitting down with her again. And thank you for all the support for her. She has been doing a fantastic job. And keep going on your journey. Educate, read the books, don't give up, and just understand that it's not a miracle. It's science, and it won't happen within a week. If you're struggling and you're just starting off, do a 30-day test. Give yourself a 30-day test and see how you feel. Don't look at the scale first. Look at how do you feel. Then have the scale, because if you feel great, then you're doing something right.
Yeah, I totally agree. And don't be afraid to make changes, or take it slow. Make the changes slow. There's no one size fits all, and there's nothing saying you have to get it right the first try. There's a lot of different ways. And if you read the books and you take the resources, you're going to see I do it differently than Dad does it, than Kim does it. Kim's his wife. And we all find success because we took the time to see what works for our eating habits, what works for our lifestyle. I'm 35, he's 57, female, male, different lives, different people, and we're not going to implement it the same way, but we all took the time to figure it out. And exactly. I think that's awesome.
Exactly. And boom.
Boom.
All right.
And if you want to understand some of the references we made to the first video we filmed last fall, you can check out this video right here. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao, down and ciao.